Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making the tutorial for this beautiful Sunburst bra top. I made the tutorial for the hat last week, so I did not want the hat to be alone. I decided to make a top that we go with it. So if you've not seen the tutorial for the hat, I'm going to link it in the description below, so you too will have your own set. Without further ado, let us get into the tutorial. Okay, so for this project, these are the materials that you are going to need. Like I told you, we are doing a bra top for the hats we did previously, all right? So we are going to be using exactly the same materials we used for the hat for this bra top, all right? So we are going to be using the same colors and the same yarn, all right? You're going to need your scissors, you're going to need some stitch markers, and you're going to definitely need your tape measure, and then you are going to need your tapestry needed to weave in your ends when you are done. And on this particular project, I'm going to be using a 4.5mm hook size. All right, so let us get into the tutorial. Okay, so to start on the bra top, you are going to make a magic ring. All right, so we are also going for the sunbursts. The pattern we followed for the sunburst granny square, that is what we are going for. But this time around, we are not going to make it into a square. We are going to make it into somewhat a triangle. There is a reason I said somewhat, because the three sides are not going to be equal. Okay, the bottom is going to be more than the sides. Don't worry, as we go I will explain it to you so you understand what I'm trying to say. All right, so on this magic ring now, you're going to be putting in 16 double crochets. So first you chain up 2 and you go ahead to put in 16 double crochets on this magic ring. The chain 2, don't forget, does not count as 1, so that's 1 now. And then this is 2, 3, 4. Now we have 16 on the magic ring. All right, so now we are going to be closing this first round, this first row. We are going to be closing it with a slip stitch. All right, so now you are going to do a slip stitch on the very first stitch you made in the beginning, okay, to close it up. Then you are going to chain up 1, and then you're going to cut off this yarn, because we are going to be changing colors now to the yellow color. Okay, so now you are going to tie this one. So make sure you have 16 on the magic ring. All right, so now this is 16. We are going to be reattaching, we are going to be attaching our yellow color now. So with this yellow color, we are going to be doing the puff stitch. All right, so you are going to do 16 puff stitch now with this yellow color. So just attach your yarn anywhere. Okay, I'm going to pick this place now to attach my yarn, and then you are going to chain up 2. Okay, 1 and 2. So on this very stitch now, you are going to be making a puff stitch. Just watch carefully. This is how you make the puff stitch. So you go in with your hook and drag it out. You yarn over again and go in for the second time and pull out a loop and drag it out. Okay, make sure there is space, and then yarn over again and go into the same stitch and pull out a loop. And now that you have 6 on your hook, you yarn over and bring out all 6. Okay, now you have 2 on your hook. You're going to yarn over again and bring out the remaining 2. Okay, so this is how you create your puff stitch. All right, so now you're going to chain up one, and on the next stitch you're going to go in again to create another puff stitch. Okay, you pull out a loop. Now you have three. You yarn over again, go into the same stitch, and you pull out a loop. Okay, you yarn over again, go into the same stitch. Make sure you do it 3 times. Pull out a loop just like that, and then yarn over, take all of it out, remaining the last one to have 2 on your hook. Yarn over again and pull out the last 2 loops. Okay, and then you chain up 1. So that is exactly what you are going to be doing for all of this row. So for the row 2, you are going to do 16 puff stitches. Make sure you count your stitches as you go. Okay, so when you get to this beginning part now, I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing for row 3, okay? Okay, so I've gotten to the end of row 2. I'm done with my 16 puff stitches, so this is how it's looking. So to end on this row 2 now, you are going to be making a slip stitch on the very first stitch that we started with right here. So chain up 1, and then make a slip stitch on the very first stitch here to end the row 2. Okay, and then you're going to chain up 1 and then cut off this yellow yarn because we are going to be switching to the brown yarn again. All right, okay, so for the row 3 we are going to reattach the brown yarn on any of the spaces. All right, so you make your slip knots and pick any space. Me, I'm just going to go into, okay, let me pick the space here. All right, so you can go into any space. Let me bring it up a bit. All right, so you are going to go into that space and you are going to chain up 2. All right, so this is 1 and 2. So now for this row 3, we are going to be making cluster stitches on each of the spaces. All right, so just watch carefully. Let me show you how we are going to be creating the clusters. So you are going to yarn over, and on that same stitch now you are going to go in and pull up a loop. Now that you have 3 on your hook, you are going to yarn over, pull out 2 loops, and then yarn over again. You are going to go into the same space for the second time, and then you are going to pull out a loop. So now that you have 4 on your hook, pull out 2 loops. Now that you have 3 on your hook, you are going to yarn over and pull out all 3 loops. Okay, so now you have 3 on this stitch because you have this chain 2. This chain 2 serve as one of the cluster stitch here. Okay, so now you are going to chain up 2. For the next space, is going to be a little different because we don't have the chain 2 right here. So yarn over, go into the next space now and pull out a loop. So now that you have 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull out 2 loops. And now you have 2 on your hook, you are going to yarn over, go into the same space for the second time, pull out a loop. So now that you have 4 on your hook, pull out 2 loops. So now that you have 3 on your hook, you are going to yarn over again, and on the same space you are going to go in there for the third time to complete it 3 on that same space, and then you are going to yarn over, pull out 2 loops. Okay, so now that you have 4 on your hook, you are going to yarn over and pull out all 4 loops, all 4 loops from the hook. Okay, and then you are going to chain up 2. So just like that, you go to the next space again and you are going to repeat exactly the same thing. So that is how you create your cluster stitch. Yeah. Okay, so now you go into this space. I'm going to take it one more time. Pull out a loop. So now that you have 3 on your hook, you yarn over again, pull out 2 loops. Okay, now that you have 2 on your hook, you yarn over, go into the same space for the second time. Okay, and pull out a loop. Now that you have 4 on your hook, you yarn over again, pull out 2 loop. Now you have 3 on your hook. You're going to yarn over one last time and go into the same space for the 3rd time. So make sure you are doing it 3 times in one space. Okay, and now you're going to pull out 2 loops to give you 4 remaining loops on your hook. Then you're going to pull out all 4 loops, and then you're going to chain up 2. Okay, so this is exactly what you are going to be doing for this row. So make sure you have 16 cluster stitches all around the row 3, and when I'm done, I'll come back to show you what we are going to do next. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of row 2, so I'm done with the cluster stitch. So now I have 16 cluster stitches on the row 3. So now to end on this row 3, I'm just going to chain up 2 and make a slip stitch on the very first stitch we started with right here to end this row. And then chain up 1, and we are going to be cutting off the brown yarn because we are going back to the yellow yarn. Okay, so now you're going to tie this brown. So now we are going to be turning this circle into a triangle, not a full triangle, but a triangle. So like I said, I'll explain to you when the time comes. Okay, so now you're going to make a slip knot and reattach your yarn in any of the spaces like we've been doing. Okay, so I'm just going to pick the space here. Okay, so reattach your yellow yarn right here, and then now you are going to chain up 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now on this space you are going to be making 3 treble crochets. Okay, so this chain 4 now is going to be counting as one of the treble crochets, so you are going to make 2 more treble crochets on this stitch, on this space right here. Okay, so that's 2, and now this is 3 on a space. Okay, so now we have 3 treble crochets on that space. So now what you are going to do, you are going to chain up 1, and then on the next space right here you are going to put in 3 double crochet on that same space. So this is 2 and this is 3, and then you're going to chain up 1, and on the next space you are going to put in 3 double crochets on that same space. So that's 1, that's 2, and that is 3, and then you're going to chain up 1, and then on the next space you are going to put in 3 double crochets. 2, and then 3, and then you are going to chain up 1 again, and then you are going to put in 3 double crochets on the next space right here. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So now that you have 4 double crochet here, if you remember on the square we actually did 3 double crochets on the sides, but this time around we are going to be doing 4 double crochets on each of the spaces. So now we have 4 of the double crochets. We are going to be creating the first corner right here. Okay, so now you are going to chain up 1, and on the next space you are going to go in there with a treble crochet. So that's 1, and you are going to put in 3 treble crochets on this space. So this is 2, and then this is 3, and you're going to chain up 2, 1, 2, and on this same space now you are going to be putting another 3 treble crochets. So that's 1, 2, and then 3. So now we have one of the corner all set up. Okay, so now on the next space you are going to be going in there with double crochets again. Okay, so now chain up 1, and then on the next space now you are going to go in with 3 double crochets on that same space. 3, and then you chain up 1 again and 3 double crochets on the next space. 2 and 3 and then you chain up 1 again, and on the next space you put in 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, and then you chain up 1 again, and on the next space you are going to be putting in your 3 last double crochets before we get to the next corner. 2 and 3. So now we have 4 on the side, just like we did here. Okay, so now we are going to be creating the next corner. So to create this corner now, you're going to chain up 1, and then you're going to be putting in 3 treble crochets on this same space. Okay, so that's 1, and that's 2, and that is 3. So now you are going to chain up 2, and on that same space you are going to be putting in 3 treble crochets again. 2 and 3. Okay, so now we are going to be doing the final side. Okay, so now you are going to chain up 1, and then you are going to do double crochet on the next space, 3 double crochets on this next space. So that's 2 and that's 3. Okay, and on the next space you're going to go in with 3 double crochets. No, you chain 1 first, sorry. So for here you're going to chain up 1, and on the next space you're going to go in with 3 double crochets. Always make sure you chain 1 before you go into the next space with the next 3 double crochets. All right, don't make that mistake I just did. Chain up 1, and on the next space you go in with 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Chain up 1, and on the next space you go in with 3 double crochets. 2 and 3. You chain up 1 again, and on this last space you are going to go in with 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. So now it has brought us to the first corner. Okay, so let me do this explanation first. So if you watch well, on these 2 sides we have 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters before you see the corner. On this side you see 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters before you see the corners. But on this bottom part you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clusters before you see the next corner. That's why I said it's somewhat a triangle because on a triangle the sides are all supposed to be exactly the same thing, but this time around the bottom is going to get more of the clusters than the 2 sides. Okay, so now let's complete this particular row. So now this is the last corner we are going to be creating. You remember we put only 3 trebles on these parts before we started the doubles. Okay, so now you are going to chain up 1, and on this same space where we started from with the 3 treble crochets, you are going to be putting in 3 treble crochets there to complete that last corner right there. So that's 1. Sorry, let me correct this. So you put in 3 treble crochets on this space. 1, 2, and then 3. So this is how you complete the last corner. So now we have just 3 corners on the triangles, on the triangle, sorry. Okay, you know the square has 4 corners, but this triangle we are doing just 3 corners. So to end this row now, you are going to chain up 2, and you are going to slip stitch on the very 4th stitch here where we started it from, the 4th chain stitch we did in the very beginning. That is where you're going to make your slip stitch and then chain up 1. Okay, so now we have turned this into a triangle. It's somewhat a triangle. It's not a whole triangle because the sides are not the same thing. So now when you count it, we have 1 corner up here, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the clusters right here, then 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, then 1, 2, 3, 4 on the side before you meet another corner. So the place that has the 5 clusters, that is where is going to be the bottom. So what you will do to mark it for the top now, you are going to be putting your stitch marker. So this side happens to be where the 5 clusters are, and these 2 sides are where the 4 clusters are. So I'm just going to put a stitch marker here to mark it, to remind myself that is where my top is going to be. Okay, so now the next step is going to be going around it again with the same thing that we just did. But if you have a smaller bust, then this is okay for you. So it is not too big on you. So you are good to go with this side just like this. But me, I'm just going to be adding 1 more row. So if your bust is bigger than that, you are free to add even more of the rows. But this is exactly what we are going to be doing, just to make it the somewhat triangle, like I call it. Okay, so now I'm going to be going round with just 1 more, and I will be done. Okay, so on this part now, I'm just going to, where we did the slip stitch to stop, you're just going to go in here with another slip stitch, and then on the next stitch now with another slip stitch, and on this space now you are going to go in there with a slip stitch, just like that. Okay, so on this part now, you are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so as you can see now, we are on this space. We can start on our row right here. Okay, so on this space now, you are going to go in with 3 double crochets. This chain 3 now is going to stand as 1 of the double crochets, so you are going to put in 2 more double crochets to make it 3 double crochets on that stitch, just like that. Okay, then you're going to chain up 1, and on the next space you are going to go in with 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, and then chain up 1, and on the next space you are going to go in with 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and then you're going to chain up 1, and on the next space you are going to go in with 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and on the next space chain up 1, and into that next space you are going in with 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2 and 3. So now, as you can see, we've gotten to the first corner. Okay, so now you are going to chain up 1, and on this corner space now, just remove the stitch marker for now. you are going to be creating a corner. You remember how we create the corners, right? So now you've chained up one, you are going to be going into this corner now with 3 treble crochets. Okay, so this is 1, this is 2, and then this is 3. And now you are going to chain up 2, just like we've been doing before. And then on that same space, you are going to go in with 3 treble crochets. Okay, so this is 1, then this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, just like we've been doing before. And then you put back your stitch marker so you do not forget where the top is. All right, and now you are going to chain up 1 and just continue putting in the 3 double crochets to create the clusters like we did in the previous row. So this is what you do all through on this row, and I will meet you right here when I'm done with my own. Okay, to continue. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of this row. All right, so I'm just going to end this row now by making a chain 1, and then make a slip stitch on the very 3rd chain stitch right here where we started from. Okay, and then chain up 1 and then cut off your yarn. But this time around, I'm cutting off my yarn because I'm okay with this size. But like I said, if your bust is bigger, then continue adding more rows before you cut off your yarn. Make sure you are satisfied with your bra cup. So far, this is how the bra cup is looking. Let me turn it to the right side up. So like I told you, make sure you put a stitch marker on the place you want to be the top, because this side now has more of the clusters compared to these sides. So automatically it makes this part the top of your bra cup. Okay, so we are ready to go now with this bra cup. But the final touch now, to make it look like our sunflower color that we are going for, we are going to be introducing our green yarn. So what you are going to be doing with this green yarn now is just you're going to be putting in single crochet all across this bra cup. All right, so now we are going to start adding the single crochet from here. So you can actually go ahead to attach your green yarn anywhere to start, but me, I'm going to be starting from this top here. Okay, so I'm just going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to be attaching my yarn on top here, on the space here, just after the space, the next stitch just after the space. That is where I'm going to be attaching the green yarn, and then you chain up 1. Okay, so on that same stitch now, you're going to be going in with 1 single crochet. Like I said, we are running single crochet all across our bra cup now. Okay, and on the next stitch, you're going to put in 1 single crochet, and on the next, you're going to be going in with 1 single crochet, and on the next stitch, you're going to go in with 1 single crochet. So make sure you do not miss any stitch. Okay, just keep going with single crochet all across. All right, so this is what you're going to do all around, and I will meet you here to show you how we are going to end it and what we are going to be doing next. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the single crochet, and this is how it is looking. All right, so I'm just going to show you how we end it here now. After putting in the last single crochet, you're just going to make a slip stitch on the very first single crochet we started with right here, like that, and then you're going to chain up 1, and then you are going to cut off your yarn. All right, So we are done with our first bra cup. So now you are going to go ahead to make something identical. All right, make sure you follow the step. Each and everything that you've done here now is exactly what you are going to repeat for the second one, because you do not want one of the bra cup to be looking funny from the other one. So every mistake and every correction you made here is exactly what you are going to do for the second one. All right, so I'm just going to go off camera now and create my identical, and when I'm done, I'll come back to show you what we are going to do next. Okay, so I'm done creating the two bra cups, and this is how it's looking. You see how beautiful it looks. All right, so the next step now is going to be joining them together. All right, so now we are going to be using the green color to join it together. And like I said, I hope you put your stitch markers where the top is supposed to be, because the joining is going to be taking place at the very bottom. All right, so my own joining now, I'm going to be using the green color. I don't know the colors that you are using, if it is just one color you went for or not, but I'm going to be joining with my green color now. Okay, so I'm just going to make a slip knot and reattach my yarn on the very first bra cup. So this is how it's going to be happening. We are going to run a single crochet right from this first corner here, and then we are going to run it down to this place, and then we'll make a slip stitch here, and then we are going to continue running the single crochet down to this end here. Okay, so that is how we are going to join. So now you take your first bra cup and insert your yarn on the very corner right here. Okay, so the very corner here, that is where you go in with your yarn. You reattach your yarn here, and then you're going to chain up one. Okay, and now on that same stitch, you are going to go in with one single crochet, and on the next stitch you are going to go in with one single crochet. So keep working single crochet on each of the stitches until you get to the very middle where we are supposed to join both the bra cups together. All right, okay, so I've gotten to the middle. I'm done with the single crochet on this bra cup. So now to join it, you are going to be going into this very middle stitch. Please watch what I'm doing. Okay, so as you can see, is the one that is on the very middle right here. You're going to go into that stitch, and then you're going to be picking the one on the second part of the bra cup as well. Okay, so look at the stitch, the one on the very middle. So that is where you are going to fix the hook, and then you are going to make a slip stitch to join the two together, just like that. Okay, so now they are joined together. So from here now you are going to go into the next stitch on this next bra cup, and you're just going to do a single crochet on the very next stitch, and then on the next stitch you just keep putting in your single crochet. Okay, so keep creating the single crochet on this second bra cup as well until you get to the end here, and I'll meet you here to show you what we are going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm done joining both the bra cups together. So as you can see, this is the end this is where I'm going to be stopping the single crochet I used to join both together. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to chain up one and then cut off this yarn, because now we are going to be switching to the yellow color to do the last bead of this part. Okay, So this is how it's looking now. So as you can see here now, I had to put 2 stitch markers on the very middle here because this is where we joined together. All right, so now we are going to be using a yellow color to put in 1 single crochet all across the bottom of the bra cup. All right, so you are going to reattach the yellow yarn now on the very first stitch right here. All right, so you are going to chain up 1. And on this same stitch here, you are going to put in 1 single crochet. And on the next stitch, you are going to go in with 1 single crochet. So this is what you're supposed to do. Just keep putting in 1 single crochet. And when you get to this middle part where we join here, I'll come back to show you why these 2 stitch markers are here. All right. Okay, so I've gotten to the middle where we joined the 2 bra cups together. So this is where I put the stitch marker. I'm just going to remove the stitch marker here now from the first one. And now what you're going to do, you are going to go in with a single crochet, but you won't finish it because we are going to be using these 2 stitches right here to make a decrease. Okay, and now you are going to go into the next stitch where I just removed that stitch marker from now, and then you complete the single crochet. So now that you have 3 on your hook, you are going to pull out all 3 loops and just continue putting in the single crochet all across the bottom of the cups. Okay, so continue working your single crochet now. When you get to this end here, I'll come back to tell you what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the single crochet row with the yellow yarn. So now we are not going to be cutting off this yellow yarn. So this is what we are going to use to make the next row. All right, so for the next row now, you are going to chain up 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now you are going to turn your work to the other side. All right. So now on this first stitch right here, where you made the chain 3, you are going to go in with a double crochet on that same stitch. All right, to create a V stitch. Now you are going to skip 1 stitch, and on the next stitch you are going to go in with a double crochet. Okay, so again, skip 1 stitch and go in with a double crochet on the next stitch. Skip 1 stitch and go in with a double crochet on the next stitch. Okay, make sure you don't chain 1 in between. You're just going to be skipping the stitch without a chain 1. All right, so what we are trying to create here now is a V stitch. You know, we started with a V stitch, and then you put 1, 2, 3 double crochet, and now you are going to be creating another V stitch. All right, so now skip 1, and on the next stitch you are going to put in a V stitch. To put a V stitch, you put in 1 double crochet, then chain 1, and on that same stitch you are going to go in with another double crochet. That is how you create a V stitch. All right, so again you are going to be skipping 1, and on the next stitch you are going to go in with 1 double crochet, skip 1, and then the next stitch you're going to go in with 1 double crochet, skip 1, and you're going to go in the next stitch with 1 double crochet. So after you have the 3, now you are going to be creating another V stitch. So skip 1, put in 1 double crochet, chain 1, and put in another double crochet on that same stitch. All right, so on the V stitch, that is the only place you are allowed to chain 1 when you want to create the V stitch. All right, so you put 1 V stitch, you start with a V stitch, and you put 1, 2, 3 double crochet, always skipping 1 stitch, and create another V stitch. So on this particular row, this is exactly what you are going to be doing all through this row until you get to this end here. So when I get here, I'll come back to show you what we are going to be doing next. Okay, Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the row. I'm just going to show you how I end it here. All right, so now we have 2 stitches left. You are going to skip this stitch, and on the last stitch you are going to be making a V stitch there. Okay, and then chain 1, and on that same stitch you are going to put in another double crochet. So this is how you end this row. All right, okay, so for the next row now you are going to chain up 2, 1 and 2, and then turn your work to the front side now. And on this same stitch, this V stitch right here in the very beginning here now, you are going to put in 4 more double crochet, because this chain 2 now is going to be serving as 1 double crochet. All right, so I put in 4 double crochet on that V stitch. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So now we have 5 double crochet on this stitch right here. So now you are going to be skipping this 1 space here. You know, we put in 3 double crochets here, so you skip this first space now, and on the next space here, on top of that stitch, please just watch what I'm doing carefully. On top of that stitch, you are going to go in with a double crochet right there, just like that. Okay, so now you are going to go into the V stitch again, and you are going to put in 7 double crochet. All right, so now skip this space here now, and on the next V stitch you are going to go in with 7 double crochet in the previous V stitch. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, so now you are going to skip this first space again, and on the stitch, on the second space, the top of that stitch, you are going to go in with a double crochet, just like that. And now you are going to be skipping this space again, and on the next V stitch you are going to go in with 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So this is the pattern that you are going to follow. Okay, make sure you are putting the double crochet on the middle of the 3 double crochet stitch we made before the V stitch. All right, so now after this 7 double crochet on the V stitch, on the middle of this stitch, so you see it, we have 3 double crochet before the next V stitch. On this middle part, on top of it, that is where you are going to be going in with the 1 double crochet. Just put in 1 double crochet right there, and on the next V stitch you are going to jump now to the next V stitch and put in 7 double crochet. So that is exactly what you are going to be working on this particular row. Okay, until the end of this row, this is what you are going to be doing. And when I get here, I will come back to tell you what we're going to be doing next. Okay, okay, so I've gotten to the end of this row. I just want to show you how I end it here. Okay, so I've put the last 7 double crochet on the V stitch now. So now I'm going to be putting 1 double crochet on this middle before I get to the ending. Okay, let me show you how you can get the middle stitch. All right, so what you do, you count 1, 2 stitches from here, then before the V stitch you are going to count 2 stitches as well. So 1, 2. So in this middle stitch here, that is where you go in with your double crochet. So as you can see, it's standing on the middle between these 3 stitches. Can you see that? So the easy way for you to get it, instead of you guessing, just count after this V stitch now. Count 1, 2, and from these V-stitch parts count 1, 2, and on that middle stitch, that is where you put your double crochet. So after that, you go into the very last V-stitch here now, and you're going to put in 5 double crochet. You remember we put 4 double crochet plus the chain and 2 in the very beginning. So on the end here, at the end here now, you are going to do exactly the same thing by adding 5 double crochet to end this row. Okay, so that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there you go. Let me bring it up so you can see the beauty. All right, so now the next step is going to be attaching the strands on this side and at the top here. But first we are going to be cutting off our yarn. We are going to cut off this yellow yarn now. So just chain up 1, and cut off this yarn, and then you tie it. Okay, so before we go ahead to fix the strands on the bra, we are going to be running single crochet all across this bra top. All right, so now we are going to be using the green yarn to run single crochet all across. All right, because you know we are doing it for the hats, so I want the effects of the hats to be on the bra as well. So I don't want to leave just this yellow hanging here, so I'm going to be covering this yellow with a single crochet with the green color. Okay, so I'm just going to be using it now to run both the bottom and the top everywhere with the green. Okay, so now to start on that, I'm going to attach my green yarn now right here. All right, so this is the last green single crochet part that we do. That is where you're going to attach the green yarn and chain up 1. Okay, and on that same stitch now I'm going to put in 1 single crochet, and on the next stitch right here you are going to put in 1 single crochet. So on this part you are going to be working in 1 single crochet. Okay, on that space now you put in 1 single crochet, and on this next space now you put in 1 single crochet, and on the last stitch right here you put in 1 single crochet. Okay, so in order to turn now to this other parts, you are going to chain up 1, and on that same stitch you are going to go in with 1 single crochet, and on the next stitch you are going to go in with 1 single crochet, and on the next stitch you are going to go in with 1 single crochet, and on the next you are going to go in with 1 single crochet. All right, so on these parts now where you put the double crochet on our design here, you are going to be going there with a slip stitch just to maintain that circle part. Okay, so on this previous double crochet now you are going to go in there with a slip stitch just like that, and then on the next stitch you are just going to go in there with a single crochet. So we are running the entire body with a single crochet like I told you. All right, so now we are back on this previous double crochet parts now. So you are going to put in 1 slip stitch on that part, and then continue putting in the single crochet. So that is exactly what you are going to be doing for this particular row. Okay, so on this single crochet row now you are going to do exactly that all across until you get to this part again, and when you get here I'll come back to show you how we are going to be attaching the strings. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of putting single crochet all around the bra top. So now I'm going to be ending it here with a slip stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the last stitch right here with a single crochet, and then I'll make a slip stitch on the very first single crochet we started with to end it here. Okay, so now I'm going to chain up one, and I'm going to cut off this yarn and tie. Okay, so this is how we're looking. So this is how the top is looking. Let me take it up. Okay, so the final step now is going to be putting in our strands. So we are going to be putting strands here. This one is the one that is going to go through the neck, and then we are going to be putting one here, and we're going to be putting one here to tie at the back. Okay, so now we are going to be starting with the one on top. I just want to show you how to put this one, and then I'm going to go off camera to do the rest. All right, so make sure that you're putting it on the very middle. That's why I always like to mark my own with a stitch marker. Okay, so I'm just going to remove my stitch marker from here now, and that is where I'm going to be inserting my yarn. Okay, I always like to make a slip knot to attach the yarn. That's my method. Okay, so on this place now that you have the stitch marker, that is where you are going to go in with the yarn and just chain up 80. Okay, so for the top one now, you're going to be making 80 chains. 2, 3, 4. So now on top, on the strands that is going down to your neck, that you're going to tie on your neck, you are going to make 80 chains each, and then you are going to make 100 on the one that is going to be tying at your back. But that is what I'm going to be making for this one that I'm making for myself. If you want it longer, you can go ahead to make more chains on your own strands. Okay, but me, I'm just going to be putting 80 on the neck part, and I'm going to be putting 100 here. Okay, so when I'm done, I'll come back to show you how it's looking. All right. Okay, so I'm done putting in all of my strands. So, and like I told you, I had to put 100 chains on this part, 100 on this part, and the ones going on top, I had to put 80. So I'm gonna have to tie this one. All right, so this one is the one that is going to be tied at the back. So what I'll just do now is I'll go ahead to weave in my ends, and I will be done with my bra top. Alrighty, that brings us to the end of today's tutorial. If you know you enjoy watching this video like I enjoyed making it, make sure to like this video, okay? And subscribe to my channel if you've not done that before, and make sure you turn on that little notification bell below so that by the time I post any of these tutorials, you will be the first to know. Okay, so if you have any questions about this bra top now, make sure to put it on the comment section, and I will be happy to help. Okay, and share this video to your friends who wants to make something as beautiful as this. All right. Alrighty, until next time, bye bye.